Hello, and welcome to 6 Degrees from Cannabis. I'm your host, Tori Rerick, PharmD and holistic healer. Each episode features a candid conversation about how connecting with the cannabis plant has enhanced an individual's wellness journey. Here to honor the plant, talk about healing, and have fun. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 6 Degrees from Cannabis. I do have one announcement before we get into the show and a note on our guest as well. The first announcement is for those who are interested in mindful living. If you consider yourself a self-healer and are interested in emotional resilience, building connection to spirit, having resources, and a community to help keep you high vibration, check out my membership, Well Connected. For the month of May, you can lock in $30 per month pricing. Through 2020, the price will be going up in June. So I invite you to visit torirerick.com/membership if you're interested in learning more. And as always, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. The note about the show, you'll be meeting Robert Gray of Rob the Art Museum. This session was recorded prior to COVID. However, I did leave in the segment about the collective's upcoming events to share how well connected this group is in the community and all of the amazing partnerships and relationships that they've created. So without further delay, enjoy this chill conversation about cannabis, art, and showing up for your community. Okay, everyone. Today I'm speaking with Rob of Rob the Art Museum. He is our first male guest. I'm stoked. And Rob is actually here with me in the studio, if you will. And we're going to talk about cannabis. So, Rob, you're the creative director of Rob the Art Museum. It's a marketing collective, which actually kind of shook me. Can you tell me about the name, about the collective?
Okay. Rob the Art Museum is a marketing collective specializing in fine art. The name generates on art should be available to the masses. And if I need to, I will rob the Art Museum. This idea came from when I went to the Art Museum. I got into it in high school. I really wasn't into art, so it was like my first time really being experienced to it. And I was like, man, this is such like a great feeling. This makes me feel very inspirational. It makes me feel like very proud. And like I wanted to like share that with my community, but I wasn't able to. I couldn't get anyone to like, hey bro, let's go to the museum. Like, bro, that sounds boring as hell. I got plenty of other shit to do. So like I couldn't figure out how to get it to them. So I was like, I can't buy all this artwork. Like, so like if I could, I'll rob the art museum. And I was like, how I would like get everything to everyone. So that's where like the name really came from. It didn't come like from my name. I know some people like mix that up a little bit, but it's about getting art to the masses because art it makes you feel a certain type of way when you see it. That's the great thing about Denver. Where I come from, Chicago/Milwaukee, we really don't have like street art. You can walk through the alleys of Rhino and you can feel like inspired, motivated. You can like see like a Lindy Zimmer piece and it's making a statement. But in my alleys, like, you don't get that feeling. You walk through alleys and you feel scared. Like, you feel, I and some other people feel safe, but just a normal person from, like, out of the suburbs walking through the inner city alleys, they're like, holy shit, this is super sketch.
Totally.
So, that's really where Rob the Art Museum came from. That's where the name came from. And we do lots of things. Like we have a art description program. So just like Apple Music or Spotify, we offer art subscription service. It's a rotating contemporary art museum. So like on any wall, see your wall needs some artwork. You got a little bit of artwork right here.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's
Do
like
it up.
any place that you can think of. So we work with dispensaries, breweries, like doctor offices, anything you can think of, and we install these art galleries in their places of work. So they pay us a monthly fee, and then we come in there and switch different artwork every month. So
oh my gosh, that's
we're able
so
to like
cool.
give people like when you have a blank wall, it's like it feels sad and stuff. But if you can put artwork on there, you can like inspire things. And then like for certain businesses, we can like curate it to them. So like if we're working with like a tire company, I would make different tires art. I'll have like cars and motorcycles, things that make you want to buy tires. Like
you're the curator.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes it like worth it for them. We even have like a really affordable one where I send people prints. So every month they get a package of prints. And then they'll have to buy their own frames, and then they can make their own art museum, and then they can be their own curator in their own room. So it's really good for like high school kids, college kids who really want to get into art, but they can't really get like these prints from these artists who have these galleries and openings out in San Francisco or in Miami. But I have access to all this art, so I make it affordable, and I make sure it's accessible to everyone. So someone in like I like want to do a lot of like free subscriptions for like inner city kids and stuff like that. So if you want to get into artwork, like no matter where you are, I'll send you artwork, and you'll get a packet every month, like a different artist and things like that. So there's a lot of cool things I want to do with it. But Rob the Art Museum is strictly about art. Yeah, that's what we focus in. Fine art, which could be anything from like glass structures. We do like graffiti, canvas, like anything you can think of, even food. I consider a lot of things art, and even cannabis, like you say, that's on this podcast. But everything is an art form. It's just the way you look at it.
Totally. It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Let's get into that because I want to hear more about the cannabis side of it. Art is so much about perspective. Cannabis obviously can alter your perspective and assist with that. So what was the marriage of those two things like? Was it really natural?
It was, because I was going to the art museum and I was like, damn, I wish I could smoke a blunt right now. But it came from me just being at these art galleries, being at the art museum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I originally got into artwork, into art in general. I just went to the museum and I would smoke beforehand, and I would go inside like, damn, I just really wish I could smoke right now. So when I came out here, I was like, I came out here doing the same thing. I went to the art museum. I was like, damn, I really wish I could smoke right now. This Denver, like, I can't smoke in the art museum. Like, that's crazy. But of course you can't smoke in the art museum. It's a public space. It's like there's so many laws and stuff. Like once you understand like the behind the scenes of it.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just gonna create it myself, and I like try to figure out how to go about it. So I rented an Airbnb. It was 4 stories and had 6 bedrooms. And I curated each bedroom into a different art gallery. So, like, some had different themes, some had different lights, and it was, like, and it was all cannabis friendly. So then I had cannabis sponsors there, and you can bring your own weed, and then I had an infused dinner. So it had a bunch of elements to it. So I just wanted to do something, and I kind of just figure out how to make it happen. And then that's where it kind of started with the cannabis side of it. And ever since then, people have had a want for intertwining art and cannabis. I feel like they mix well with each other.
For sure. So, more on cannabis. What was your first experience with cannabis like?
It was dope. I was an athlete. I played football, and my mother had a substance abuse problem growing up, and my father was in and out of jail for selling drugs. So like my initial relationship with drugs was kind of rough. I was like trying to be like the good boy in the family, to like not smoking shit like that. But eventually like I noticed that everybody else on the football team, like the star athletes, were all smoking weed. So I was like, bitch, I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna blow. But yeah, the first time was dope. I was with my homies, and we're on our way to a party, and they were smoking, so I was like, fuck it. And then ever since then, I was pretty committed. It was always just a fun relationship. It was never like a dependent relationship. It was always joyful. Yeah, but then also got deeper involved with it. It was more of like a survival method because I grew up in the inner city. So I also used it as like currency to barter and to make a living and just make a little extra side money and stuff like that. Nothing, no kingpin shit, but sell weed every here and there.
Yeah. So that was a part of your growing up and a joyful experience, and then art was such a joyful experience when you went to that gallery. So did you know you'd be working with cannabis?
When I came out here?
Just, I guess, growing up, like from that point on.
Hell
did
no,
you have visions
never
of that?
envisioned like working, like it being like a thing. It was always like a negative thing to do. Like I would never thought like I thought I would sell weed my whole life. Like because it just I never thought of it like it's wrong I was doing. Um, but besides that, I never thought like work wise.
Totally.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get out the city I was in for a really long time, but I made a way.
What was that transition like? Did you come out here as a cannabis refugee?
Uh, yeah, I guess you can say that. I wanted to get into cannabis, so that was a goal when I came out here. What's the definition of a cannabis refugee?
Cannabis refugee, or marijuana refugee, is a term primarily used in the United States and Canada referring to people who have moved from one location to, this is a Wikipedia reference,
Very
another
reliable.
due to cannabis prohibition laws, motivated by either a desire to have legal access to cannabis to treat medical conditions for themselves, their family, etc., or any other reason. What's good?
I would definitely say medical. I have PTSD just from just growing up in the inner city, experiencing a lot of things, losing a lot of friends and family and stuff like that. I hear loud sounds and I jump to the ground automatically because I think they're gunshots, and it's embarrassing, but it's my reality, and it's something that it's embedded in me now. So it's just little things like that, and cannabis definitely helps calm my anxiety. It's a lot of ways it helps me medicinally. So yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
When did you consciously recognize that, I guess? Because a lot of the stories that people have been sharing with me, they took to cannabis, they knew it helped them feel better, they didn't really know why. And same for me, you know, it was a good time, etc. And then, you know, you develop this relationship with her and she shows you yourself. So I'm curious to hear about that.
The big one, when I moved out here, I was in a really bad car accident. I was hit head on by a drunk driver, and like it messed up my back. It's like my eye is really messed up, so my vision is like really jacked up on one side because like a lot of the chords I really don't remember everything he said because I blanked out when the doctor was telling me. I moved out here by myself, so this is something that I experienced by myself. So like a lot of it was like, I don't know, I went numb. So when it was telling me like all the stuff that I was wrong, I don't recall it exactly, but pretty much the strings and like the back of my eye was like ripped out. So like my vision is impaired, my back is messed up, and I was really like I was taking, I forgot like exact what pain medicine it was, but I was taking some type of pharmaceutical pills, and I needed that to get by because the pain was so rough. But I wanted to get off of it, so like cannabis was like what I was going to like just smoke to like help my pain go away. So that's the really big one. When like I really am now using salves and stuff like that, rubbing salves on my back and stuff. So that's when I really felt like the medicinal properties of it, and that was just a few years ago. Like other times it was like it made me feel good and stuff like that, maybe after football and stuff like games, it made me feel good. But like the big time when I really needed to get off like opioids, I don't even know if that's a proper term, but to get off those pain pills that they gave me, that's when it really felt it. And that's luckily I was here already,
right?
Yeah, that's when it really came through clutch to really be in a legal state. Unfortunately it happened, but yeah, it was nice to have access to cannabis to really guide my healing, because I can only imagine like only relying on those pain pills and then like being stuck on them would be really hard.
Totally. Yeah. Plant medicine as an option is so amazing. So you spoke a little bit about the relationship between cannabis and Rob the Art Museum. You featured glass artists, which is huge. And but something I want to talk about a little bit is the neighborhood hero. Was that part of the collective initially? Is that something new?
Oh, no, that's my passion project. That's something that's like based in my core. I feel like it's important in any community you're involved in. You need to make sure you give back. I've been super active in my community. I've been a mentor, like helping out inner city youth since I was in middle school. I just feel it's super important to give back. Like I grew up in the hood, so like I know what it's like to like not have nobody come back to like help you out, and like you're like a lost cause and no one thinks of you. And like the most successful people in my neighborhoods were like pimps and drug dealers. And like a lot of people think of drug dealers being a bad thing, but where I came from, the drug dealers were the guys who made sure we had food, the guys that would make sure we had clothes and stuff like that. So
The economy.
it was, yeah, exactly. So they were neighborhood heroes. That's why it's kind of it's not based off of drug dealers, but they're heroes in every neighborhood. And I was a drug dealer back then, and like now I don't sell cannabis anymore. Far as say like in a dispensary or anything like that, but like when I first got here, when I like wanted to, and I started giving back, I was in a dispensary and I was selling weed. So I was it's a legal thing now.
Yeah, it's
but
same concept.
exactly,
Pharmacist,
exactly,
same concept.
exactly. So there's different heroes, and I can still do this stuff, and I can still be a good guy. I can still like, and that's just the shows like the cannabis industry. Like you can still be involved in cannabis industry. Like you can still sell cannabis like with a license as a MIP, as a dispensary, and you can still be involved in your community. So that's why it's kind of based around there, but it's not like it doesn't scream cannabis, because I know cannabis can't really be around children or advertised to children. So that's why I really don't base my art collective really
Solely.
around cannabis. It's kind of like third party almost, because I always want to be able to help children. That's my passion. And I just came out here doing that organically. I was like feeding the homeless in Rhino. One big thing, thanks. One big thing that I did that really caught attention was I was working for a major cannabis company, and they were moving between offices, and they had a refrigerator with a bunch of old like meat that nobody wanted. They were just gonna throw it away. I'm like, don't throw it away. I'll do something with it. They're like, you're a vegan. What are you gonna do with a bunch of meat? I was like, I'll cook it and give it out to the homeless in
Right.
Rhino. They was like, you do shit like that? I was like, yeah. Like if anything I can do to do something like to help somebody, then why not? So I took all the food and I went and like cooked it up and I just gave it out to the homeless in Rhino. I didn't like.
I love it.
Didn't like make a big deal out of it. It was just like something that I could help somebody else with. They saw that. I was like, that's super cool that you do stuff like that. They asked me more about it. I was like, I want you to do this for our company. So I became the community engagement director for this cannabis company. I was the head of the department. I like to think it was the first department like that based in the cannabis industry. But my focus was to get back to people 21 and up. My goal is to get back to the youth and help them out and like build them up. So we just saw we had disagreements. So that's why it's kind of based around solely art. So I can make sure I can get back to children and focus on them and just help out the neighborhood. The neighborhood
What are
is
some
really
things that you do in the neighborhood?
right now. It's just we're focused on cleaning the park. And then once we clean up that part, we're gonna do a lot of cool things within that part. We're gonna
Is this inner city Denver?
Yes, this is Elyria Park in North Denver. It's right by 47 in Brighton. That's the dispensary I started off at with Starbuzz in North Denver. So that was a park that was like in that local neighborhood. So I don't have a car right now. So like my whole time I was like catching buses and walking like anywhere I had to go to like to do anything that I do. I either walking on mobile on like Lyft, or I'm on like the RTD. So I was at that park a lot, just walking by and stuff like that. And I saw like, it's a beautiful park, but like no one is really taking care of it. It has like a skate park, it has a volleyball court, it has a basketball court, it has a rec center, it has a park for the kids, it has a big open yard. And it's just like smack dab in the middle of North Denver. But there's a lot of gentrification going on in that area. So my big thing is beautification over gentrification. So we're really pushing to do a lot in that community. And then we're going to start doing art festivals after we get the park cleaned up.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to build like murals, like walls, and like have artists do live murals. And then have like music and stuff and entertainment, like fun games and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I want and then we're also gonna have the volleyball court filled out with sand and just have that like active and going, like have different tournaments.
So cool.
We're redoing the skate park. We're gonna do a lot of murals on like the side of the other ramps and things like that. And I want to work with a bunch of different artists and just do different activations just to make it a cool place and to be loved. Right now it's just like abandoned, and People are just like not taking care of it.
Cool.
So yeah,
I'm there.
yeah,
Do you call for community support?
100%. I'm having a cleanup this Sunday that I need some people to come to.
And it's once a month. You do
yeah,
it's
Sunday. The first Sunday every month. So it's something that I'm gonna do for the end of time. It's Art Park. So, yeah, you can come out first Sunday of every month, and I'll always be there. And we're gonna do stuff like more often once we get like a big following behind that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's family friendly, so you can bring your family. So it's super cool. I'm eventually gonna have like vegan food trucks and stuff like that. Like be there and I'm gonna pay for like the first 100 people in the community to come get free food. I want to make vegan food accessible to like underfunded and underprivileged communities.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure they know how easy it is. It's a big Latin community over there, so I can show them like how rice and beans can be like a staple in their diet. And there's also like a what is it called? Grow house. It's a grow. They grow vegetables. It's like almost like a small farmer's market. So
like a little co-op.
Yeah, like a little co-op thing. So it's a lot of cool things I want to do that you can do to activate that area and just teach people how to farm and different stuff like that. So
empower the people.
Absolutely. Just sustainability is a big thing for us. That's what we base Rob the Art Museum around, is sustainability. So, and that's a mindset also. So we want our community to be sustainable, and there's different ways that we can implement that. So yeah, but that's a big part of Rob the Art Museum. We put a lot of energy into that, and we have a lot of we're very passionate about it. I make sure it's something that we do and everyone be involved, and always encourage our partners to be a part of it. If any artists or anybody want to work with us, that's the best way to like get in our good graces. Like meet me there if you want to bring something up to me, and like, hey, so many people come up to me like, hey, I want to put on this event, I want to do this, I want to do that. Meet me at my park and talk about it. Like clean up the park, and then say like, hey, I got this idea, and then unless you're paying me, come clean up a park.
I think that's really important because, running my own business and being part of another, sometimes we're short on time. And so the automatic thing to do is to donate money, which is fantastic. But if you're not in the position to give money, you feel kind of helpless sometimes. But of course, you have your time. And so for you and your company, I feel like I don't see companies often giving their time. I see them giving dollars, which thank you. But also to give your time, to show up and meet people.
Absolutely. You got to touch, you got to be engaged with community. And I try to engage, educate, and inspire the community. So that's like our mission statement for Rob the Art Museum. And we try to do that with art, and we try to do that with artists, and we try to do that with the community. It's a big part. You got to engage, educate, and inspire everyone around you.
So I met you through Normal. So I'm wondering, just like, what's your advocacy game since that chapter has dissolved? Have you put more of your energy into Neighborhood Hero?
Yeah, I've put all my energy into Neighborhood Hero and Rob the Art Museum. I do that full time. And it's been, that's where I'm happy at. So I haven't really done really much advocacy besides for the neighborhood. Just want to start off at a small level where I can have like a direct impact and I can be directly involved with the community. That's a big thing for me. Like I want to be able to touch it. I want to be able to be tangible. I want people to be able to contact me and reach me, and like eventually I want to. Right now I'm earning the trust of the community, so I'm just trying to clean it up, and eventually I might meet some kids from the community who want to also come help clean it up. It's like, oh, that's cool what y'all doing. Y'all filled up our volleyball court. Y'all like fixed up the skate park. Right now I'm not asking for like, I'm asking for like the cannabis community, the art community. I'm asking for their support, not to support other people who like directly live there right now. That time will come once they see, because they live there every day. Like once we put in the work, like, hey, we're here to like, to be a benefit, to be like a trusted friend. Exactly. Not tell them, hey, come clean up your neighborhood. Like, no, that should be the city. That shouldn't be us. Especially like there's not even like doggy bags in like the dispenser.
And that's everywhere
Exactly,
in suburbia, yeah.
Exactly. You can't put doggy bags in there. It's like little stuff like just being a voice for the people who feel unheard. So if I gotta fight for doggy bags in there, if I gotta fight for sand in the volleyball court, like why don't you maintain the volleyball court? Like I love the city of Denver, but there's certain things, but I don't know, maybe no one's speaking up, no one's caring, they feel forgotten, like, and I've been there before.
Yeah.
And if I was back home, I would be trying to do the same thing to like try to like fight for my community and help my community. And I'm part of so many different communities right now with like the art community, the cannabis community, the vegan community. I try to intertwine them all where they can all benefit each other in some type of way. Yeah.
Yeah. How has that been to mix the communities? I'm curious about your experience with the cannabis community. How were you received? Was it easy to tap into?
It was not easy to tap into. Start off as a bud tender. If I could have very well stayed a bud tender for a really long time, and I probably would have ended up much but a bud tender. I always encourage people like don't stay at that position. It's a good stepping stone. But if you ever, there's always more opportunity out there, and your first dispensary might not be that best place for that. So always push yourself. Don't get complacent. But that's where I started. I could have very well stayed a bud tender, but I did more. I used to go to Tetra night. What is it called? Tetra Private Lounge and Garden, and it was like a networking opportunity. I would just sit there and try to figure out anybody who came in. I'll figure out like, okay, they're doing something, like they're setting up for a party. Let me figure out like who's the person they're talking to. Like, hey, I'm Rob. Like, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing at that point. I was just trying to get to know people, just like tapping my toes in different waters and stuff like that. Just trying to be social. I didn't know if I wanted to be like a quote unquote cannabis influencer. I didn't know if I like wanted to do wholesale weed or if I like wanted to be a GM or a dispensary. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to be out here and I just wanted to be something. So I just kept trying to just do a little bit of everything. I used to go to I used to Google like cannabis events, cannabis meetups, and I would go to these cannabis marketing clubs and stuff like that. And it was like the most random things, and a lot of times I would be sometimes the youngest person in the room, sometimes like the only person of color in the room. A lot of times like I'm the only person who like might have the lowest education level. Like a lot of times I felt out of place in these places, but I was like, I'm still gonna be here because there's things that I can learn, there's knowledge that I can obtain. I feel like knowledge is the best gift that you can give someone. So all I was about was like, I'm trying to attain as much cannabis knowledge as I can. I'm finna take advantage of this opportunity. I'm finna go super hard. I don't know what I'm finna do, but I'm finna try to meet everybody I can, like try to shake as many hands as I can, get as much business cards, and just like try to figure this cannabis thing out. Because I came from where I was just selling weed. I didn't know about terpenes. I didn't know about anything cannabis besides like you smoke it to get high, you smell it, and then you roll it up in blunts, and just that's pretty much it. And that was all I really knew about cannabis. So that's really how I really got into it.
So what was it like to create Rob the Art Museum? Like, were you solo at first, or like because you have a team?
Yes.
So
it started off solo at first. It started off just solely as an Instagram, and it was I really didn't know what I was doing with it. It was started off like kind of as myself, but the whole concept was based around like the art museum, but also my name was Rob, so I knew it was gonna get confused, so I kind of played as a double entendre. But I started the first event I did the vegan dinner, I did the art museum, I did like a yoga, a cannabis yoga, I did just like a bunch of stuff, and then it was a good turnout. So like every month after that, I just wanted to keep doing it. So it started off kind of messy and all over the place, but it started off as events, kind of, and then it kind of got focused around art, because the first one was like kind of everywhere. The art wasn't the main focus. It was just like Rob the Art Museum was on the flyer, but we had like the vegan dinner. What else we had? We had the yoga, and then it was like something else. I can't remember exactly what it was. Then like the third time around doing one of these like cannabis friendly events, because there were cannabis events, but a lot of these cannabis events you can't really smoke cannabis at.
Right.
Which is a big thing for me. Like, I like to smoke weed everywhere I go.
That's
so for me to
thing,
be told, yeah, exactly. Especially being Denver, especially if you're told it's a cannabis event. Like, if I want to smoke a joint, if someone's telling me about the product, I should be able to be like, okay, let me see it, let me smell it, let me test it. So yeah, and I like to medicate myself. Like, if I'm having anxiety, I should be able to step to the side and be able to light up a joint and be like, all right, I'm cool now. So that's another big thing. Yeah.
So, okay, I want to hear where this is going, because it started out messy, which I appreciate you saying, because a lot of times we think we have to do it perfect right out the gate, and you feel really established to me.
Absolutely.
But I want to hear where you're going, what the big vision is. Do you want your own museum that's like consumption friendly? Where do you see this going, big picture?
Big picture is the art subscription program. I like everyone to be a part of the art subscription program. It should be just like Apple Music and Spotify, where people should be able to have different art and have a abundance of art, so they can share with people and give it away and have different things in our home and different. It should never be an empty wall, because there is affordable art out there for everyone. You don't have to spend $5,000 on a piece of artwork. You can spend $75 a month, and then you can get that artwork on there. You don't get to own it or anything, but you get to keep it for a month.
I mean, that's the culture we're in now. We're all sharing things,
exactly,
which is connecting us. So.
Exactly. So it makes you feel really good. But that's one of the big things. Either a brick and mortar would be cool. I might be really close to obtaining a brick and mortar, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the big thing is the art subscription program. Everything else is we're doing like festivals and things now. So we're working on a big festival coming up for 420. But pretty much larger scale events. They might not always be cannabis friendly now, because they're getting so big so fast. But they'll always be cannabis inspired, kind of, because the artists and everyone enjoys cannabis around it. But just doing larger scale events is like the next thing.
Cool.
But mainly the art subscription program and the neighborhood heroes, really building that up, and we'll see where everything else go. We're still really trying to make sure everything is just tuning everything up and just trying to make sure it's a good product before we take it to scale. Exactly, before we scale it. But yeah, we're super excited. Yeah.
Yay.
Did that answer your questions? I feel like I missed like the second one.
No, you did. You did.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll try not to do multiple.
No.
I mean, you've already shared that, you're a bud tender, which you learn on the job, and you had a badge. You have a badge.
Yeah, I need to renew that. Ooh,
good reminder. Everyone renew your badge. This is your reminder. But like, do you have any specific resources that you would recommend to people if they're cannabis curious or just learning? It doesn't have to be like 101. Either. Just like anything that was really important to you.
Get out there and be involved with the community. Face-to-face relationships are important. You just got to get out there. Just be yourself. And if eventually you'll find people to connect with. I felt like I was sticking out every scenario I was going with, but that was probably just me being self-conscious. That's one of the reasons why I like smoking cannabis, because I'll smoke weed before I go, and like, I wouldn't care anymore. But if I didn't smoke before I go in there, if I can't smoke in there, I'm like, oh shit, I'm the only person that smell like weed in here. Like, did nobody else smoke before they came in here? Am I the only blunt smoker? But a lot of times I was in a room and I would be the only like big cannabis user, because a lot of times these corporate situations, they're coming to these events because they know the power of being involved. These are people who are in their 40s and 50s and stuff like that. They know the part of like seeing face and shaking hands and handing a business card. So they know how powerful that is. A lot of people of youth don't know that. They just want to like meet people through social media or at events or just organically. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen if you want to meet someone of power. meet someone who actually doing something, because they're not just relying on shit to come to them. They're going out there and trying to get it. So I advise you to like look up any cannabis like networking events, cannabis marketing events, anything. Even if they don't encourage cannabis smoking at that event, if they're in the cannabis sector, just be there and meet some people, because those are all people who are trying to like make something. They want something from you, and like you might not be able to give them that, and they might not what you might not want what they got. But just being there, just learning things, just seeing people like, and eventually like, hey, I know this one guy who did this, and I connect you to, and like that's a lot of times what I did. Like I didn't have like a per se trade that I had to offer at first, but I was like, if I can help you out, I'll help you out. Like you need me to do something, like I'll hand out your stickers, like whatever you need me to do. Like I'm willing to be like a team player until now I have my own team, and then now I have people who like want to help me. But at first I was just trying to be involved until I figured out like really what I wanted to do, and luckily like I found a way to intertwine cannabis and art, and with veganism / what we say sustainability, because we try to, veganism is just a piece of sustainability. We try to be sustainable in all our practice and everything that we do.
It's so important, and really where people are headed when they're looking for companies. And that's really interesting in the art space too, sustainability, because I don't know, just consumerism and America and all of that and more and it's better. But I think what's really important with your initiative is the curation and really making sure that things are a right fit, not just sending something and producing something just because. Okay, so where can the people find you?
RobTheArtMuseum.art is our website. That's our home basis of everything. If you want to find out any events, you guys know how Instagram is as far as like cannabis content. So my page is 21 and up now. So in order to even be on our Instagram page, you need to be 21 and up. Just because you will see cannabis consumption, cannabis companies on our page somewhere, somehow. It's not going to be like dad videos in your face, but you might see someone smoking weed every now and then, which we feel is okay and should be acceptable.
Normalize, yeah.
Absolutely. So our main things are all our content that we're going to be producing. We're doing everything on RobTheArtMuseum.art. We have podcasts, we got interviews and everything coming up. We're doing a lot of cool things, and especially coming up with this summer. We're going to be curating a lot of cool things like Final Fridays and First Fridays and things like that. It's a bunch of cool stuff, yeah.
We'll be there. Okay, I forgot to ask you. And now that I know that Rob the Art Museum is separated from you somewhat, but I'm curious to know what your style is. What would you describe your style as? Like your personal art, humor style? Because Rob the Art Museum has me LOLing on social media. And I didn't know before if it was Rob or if it was Rob the Art Museum.
Right now, most of that is me. Until I can find someone that can like take it over, but I want to pay someone, and right now we're still a startup.
Totally.
So I'm just trying different things on social media, and I don't like to put my face on it because then people are going to associate it with me, Robert. So everything is like third party. If anyone's like on social media, it's like one of them, one of the co-owners of Rob the Art Museum, or somebody who's helping out with the team. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
What's your style? What's your art style?
That I like?
Yeah.
I have no style that...
You like anything that inspires you?
Yeah, it gotta spark emotions. It gotta like make me feel something. And that's what I judge good artwork off of. A lot of times I'm a fan of the artist more than I am of their artwork. So if I see an artist and I like they're a good person, they're working really hard and they're trying to get it, and like that's what I'm gonna stand behind. I stand behind the person because I know like I'm in startup. I'm still trying to learn. I'm not the best at what I'm doing, but I'm really ambitious. I give 150%, like, and I'm motivated. And those I just want go getters, and those people I want to try myself in, so I can like support that artist, because art is. I might think one thing is beautiful, but another person might think it's ugly. And one person might think something's beautiful. Exactly. It's all subjective. So art, I've seen artists where I'm like, and they're like really well-renowned artists, but I'm like, that shit's ugly. It looks like a kid did it. But whatever floats your boat. So,
totally.
like, yeah.
Are you an artist? Do you consider yourself an artist yourself? Of course, 100%. You're very creative, but do you have like a particular medium? Would you say?
No, not a particular medium. I consider myself just the way I create, just these spaces, these installs, some of these events, the concepts and stuff like that. Art can be so many things, so I definitely feel like I'm an artist. I would like more time to create, like on a canvas, or if it's like a multimedia art, or with graffiti cans, spray cans, whatever you wanna, any type of medium that you can think of. I would like to do more like that, but right now I'm really trying to push my business and really hone into that, and just really do the best I can and give it all I got right now before I like go on my solo project. That time is gonna come. But definitely consider myself an artist, but my medium is really just earth in general, and just like, I guess, life and people, connection. Yeah, totally. It's kind of hippie, but just everything. I feel you. Just putting all this stuff together is definitely artwork. Managing personalities.
Yeah. No, I consider myself a vibe curator. Like, I just know how to make the energy right. It might be, changing something physically. It might be inviting certain people. I'm not sure, but I got you.
Exactly. It takes a lot, and that's well needed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you're a vibe curator.
I am. I'm a self-proclaimed vibe curator.
Okay. Is that a service?
Call me.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I need fees and services.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to mention to the audience today, Rob?
We're curating our first university, MSU Denver. They have Dime Denver, which is a university for like really music inspired. So we're curating their first Friday on Santa Fe Art District. So that'll be super cool. We're also helping out with IRL, which is Annie. She's a really good friend of mine. She's doing a dairy block down there, so we'll be doing some cool things with her. We'll be working under IRL for that, but we're going to be really directly involved and really trying to make sure that's go and giving that our 100% as it was our own event. So we're putting a lot of energy into that. That's a good friend of ours. She's like a mentor. So shout out Annie. She's really been like a blessing in the art world, and like kind of like show me a lot of cool things and show me the way. So yeah, we're gonna make sure that's like super dope. So check that out, coming up in like May.
Okay.
Is when those start. So right after our Party Animals Art Festival, and then you'll see us in May for Final Fridays in a dairy block. It's free, family friendly. Come down there, enjoy some live music, enjoy some artwork.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that's not really cannabis focused, but it's really art focused. I'm sure if you're really creative, you'll figure out where you can smoke some cannabis.
Right.
Like, figure it out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to 6 Degrees from Cannabis. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star rating. You can find more information about holistic healing and what I do by visiting ToriRerick.com. Find me on Instagram at YourGuideTori and connect with me through direct message anytime. Peace out.